What unfolds when a social media influencer with millions of followers steps into Judge Judy's courtroom convinced her online fame makes her untouchable? Madison Taylor, 24 years old, earns around $50 a month creating lifestyle and beauty content. She arrived at the Los Angeles courthouse in a white Mercedes-Benz, streaming her entrance live to thousands of followers, her perfectly manicured hand holding her phone as if it were part of her identity. She stood before the court because she rear-ended the car of a 68-year-old retired teacher while filming a makeup tutorial behind the wheel. That crash sent the other driver, Mrs. Dorothy Kim, to the emergency room with injuries that would permanently affect her life. Mrs. Kim suffered severe whiplash and now faces over $8,000 in medical expenses, costs that continue to rise with each doctor visit and therapy session. Madison's insurance company refused to pay anything. Why? Because Madison had already admitted, on camera to millions, that she was multitasking while driving, essentially confessing to reckless behavior while applying lipstick for content. Madison walked into Judge Judy's courtroom like she was attending a brand deal meeting or a photo shoot. She carried a designer handbag worth more than most people's rent, wore a carefully styled outfit that looked casual but expensive, and clutched her phone like it connected her to everything that mattered. On her face was that polished influencer smile, the one designed for sponsors and fans. The smile of someone used to getting her way. What she didn't realize was that Judge Judy had already seen the viral dashcam footage of the accident. Millions had watched it online. The judge had seen Madison holding her phone in one hand, lipstick in the other, chatting and laughing to her audience, completely unaware of traffic stopping ahead, until it was too late. Standing confidently in court, Madison looked directly at the judge and said the words that would seal her fate. "You can't touch me. I have lawyers. I have followers. I have influence." But when Judge Judy played the dashcam footage in a silent courtroom and asked one simple, devastating question, everything shifted instantly. Madison's carefully crafted online image, built on filters and curated content, shattered. What followed didn't just humble her. It became a viral lesson in accountability, viewed over 20 million times. It stood as a clear example of what happens when online influence collides with real-world consequences. And in the months that followed, the empire Madison had spent 5 years building began to crumble in ways she never expected, proving that followers can disappear just as quickly as they come. What no one in that courtroom yet knew, what made the case even more painful, was that Mrs. Dorothy Kim wasn't just another plaintiff seeking compensation. She had dedicated 40 years to teaching special needs children in underserved communities across Los Angeles. She woke up before dawn to prepare lessons, stayed late to help struggling students, and often used her own money for classroom supplies. After retiring at 65, she didn't slow down. Instead, she volunteered 3 days a week at a children's hospital, reading to sick kids, comforting infants whose parents couldn't be there, and assisting with therapy sessions for children recovering from trauma. On the day of the accident, she was driving to one of those volunteer shifts, on her way to read stories to children battling cancer, when Madison's Mercedes struck her car at 40 miles per hour. The injuries Madison later dismissed as minor ended Mrs. Kim's volunteer work entirely. They left her in constant pain, requiring daily medication. Judge Judy had reviewed every medical report, every doctor's note, every piece of evidence. She was fully prepared to deliver justice. It was exactly 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning in Judge Judy's Los Angeles courtroom. The atmosphere was tense. Word about the case had spread, and the gallery was filled with people expecting something explosive. Mrs. Kim sat quietly at the plaintiff's table, wearing a neck brace, her posture composed, her hands folded calmly in her lap. Beside her, her daughter rested a supportive hand on her shoulder. Madison entered with her assistant trailing behind her. Both were glued to their phones, scrolling through social media, completely absorbed in their digital world. Judge Judy looked up, immediately noticing every detail. The bailiff called the case. Dorothy Kim versus Madison Taylor. $23,000 in damages sought. Madison leaned toward her assistant and whispered, loud enough for others to hear, "This won't take long. Watch me handle this." Judge Judy heard it, and she didn't forget. She began calmly, giving Madison a chance to show respect. Ems. Taylor, you're being sued for rear-ending Mrs. Kim while filming yourself applying makeup. Is that correct? Madison barely glanced up. Yeah, I mean, technically. But it wasn't a big deal. Put your phone away immediately. Judge Judy responded sharply. Madison rolled her eyes but complied, clearly annoyed. She explained her version of events. Driving to an important brand meeting, filming content because her audience demanded it. Claiming traffic was slow, and the accident minor. Judge Judy tin. A minor tap that sent a woman to the emergency room. Madison shrugged. That's on her for driving an older car. The courtroom murmured in disbelief. Judge Judy pressed further. So this is her fault, because she doesn't drive a luxury vehicle? Madison nodded confidently. Judge Judy's pen pressed harder against her pad. Then came the turning point. I have the dashcam footage, the judge said. Let's watch it. Madison shifted uncomfortably. The video played. It showed her car drifting slightly between lanes. No brake lights, her head down, phone in one hand, lipstick in the other, talking to her audience. Traffic stopped. She didn't notice for 3 seconds. Then, impact, her reaction? Annoyance, she exited her car still recording, blaming Mrs. Kim instead of helping, dismissing her injuries, complaining about her own inconvenience. Even afterward, she filmed a follow-up video, calling the accident stupid and returning to her makeup tutorial. The courtroom fell silent. Judge Judy removed her glasses slowly. Do you still claim this wasn't your fault? She asked. Madison tried to justify it. Multitasking, normal behavior, overreaction. Then she crossed the line. She only went to the hospital for a few hours. It's not like she died. Gasps filled the room. Mrs. Kim's daughter stood up in anger. Judge Judy slammed her hand down. Sit down, I'll handle this. She turned back to Madison. Have you even read the medical reports? Madison shrugged. It seemed exaggerated. Judge Judy stood up, a rare and intimidating moment. Exaggerated, she repeated. Madison doubled down, and then, she said it. You can't touch me. I have 2 million followers. I have influence. The courtroom erupted. Judge Judy let the moment settle then, calmly. Are you finished? Silence. In 25 years, she continued, you are the first person to suggest that social media makes you immune to consequences. She called Mrs. Kim to speak. The elderly woman stood, supported by her daughter, and quietly described how the accident had taken away her ability to serve others. The purpose that defined her life, Madison muttered under her breath, so overdramatic. Judge Judy heard it. You called her overdramatic, she said sharply. Then she delivered her ruling. Judgment for the plaintiff in the full amount of $23,000. Madison barely reacted, assuming insurance would cover it. But Judge Judy wasn't finished. Your insurance has denied your claim due to your own admission of distracted driving. This judgment is against you personally, she continued. I am also referring this case to the California DMV for possible license suspension, and you will post a public apology on your main social media account within 7 days, or face an additional $10,000 contempt charge. Court dismissed.